The whole cryptocurrency industry has just been shaken up by Congress. The House of Representatives of the United States of America enacted what is now being referred to as the most significant piece of crypto legislation in the history of the United States by a vote of just 412 to 3. There is no security statute pertaining to H.R. 7353, the XRP. It is not a matter of guesswork, not a rumor. This is true. It is a real decision made by Congress that puts an end to the regulatory uncertainty that has surrounded XRP for the past 10 years. On top of that, the XRP community is not the only one rejoicing. The reaction of investors, institutions, and even big global banks is taking place in the background in a stealthy manner. The effects of this measure have the potential to transform the landscape of the financial world for decades to come. Today we are going to explore what this means for XRP, how the SEC's hold on the cryptocurrency has been shattered, and the reasons why experts are now openly anticipating a future in which XRP may possibly reach $5,000. Let's start with the bill from the beginning. In the beginning of this year, House Resolution 7353 was presented with just a moderate amount of support, but as a result of increasing pressure from both parties and lobbying efforts from the banking and fintech businesses, it swiftly acquired pace. The precision with which the bill's wording is written is noteworthy. It indicates unequivocally that XRP will not be categorized as a security under the federal legislation of the United States. Those four words, which are straightforward, unambiguous, and unquestionable, are sufficient to destroy years of arguments and judicial fights brought by the SEC. In addition, the Act instructs the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) to retroactively discontinue enforcement efforts that were purely based on the assertion that XRP constituted a security. This basically destroys the whole case that Ripple was pursuing against the company. A regulatory reset and a financial emancipation act for digital assets are two terms that legal commentators are using to describe this legislation. What precipitated such a significant change in legislative policy? According to many sources, the rising dissatisfaction among members of Congress about the unfriendly position taken by the SEC toward cryptocurrency has reached a boiling point. It was maintained by a number of legislators that the excessive regulatory reach of the Securities and Exchange Commission was impeding innovation and sending American firms offshore. Ripple executives, together with representatives from major financial institutions, gave proof of the value of XRP in cross-border payments and liquidity management during a hearing that was held behind closed doors. This may have been the final straw that broke the camel's back. The message was unmistakable. Blockchain-based finance is evolving all over the world, and the United States runs the risk of falling behind if its authorities do not adjust to the new environment. In a turn of events that sent shockwaves through even the most seasoned political observers, a paper started making its way around just a few days after the vote. Supposedly a letter of resignation from Gary Gensler, chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Despite the fact that it was not confirmed, the letter issued an expression of regret about the manner in which digital asset legislation was handled. It also admitted that political pressure and a lack of clarity may have contributed to mistakes involving XRP. Despite the fact that the validity of the letter is still unknown, we do know that Gensler has cancelled a number of public events, and there are whispers circulating within the Commission that imply he may be resigning before the next fiscal quarter. In the event that this is accurate, it would be the conclusion of one of the most controversial chapters in the history of regulation in the United States. So what does that mean for XRP at this point? After the legal cloud was being lifted, the floodgates are now fully open for business. Major asset managers are already making preparations to submit applications for investment products that are based on XRP cryptocurrency. Fidelity Digital Assets made the announcement that it will be investigating the possibility of offering XRP index funds to institutional clients just a few days after H.R. 7353 was enacted. While everything is going on, there are whispers going around that BlackRock, the largest asset management in the world, is secretly amassing XRP in preparation for the introduction of the first US-based spot XRP ETF. In the event that this occurs, the validity of XRP will be established and the degree of demand might literally skyrocket overnight. Now let's talk about the question that's worth $1 billion. Would it be possible for XRP to hit $5,000? In order to provide a response to that, we need to dissect it in a logical manner. As opposed to using hype, you should utilize actual measurements and use cases. Simply said, XRP is not a currency. This technology was developed to facilitate liquidity, the instantaneous transfer of funds across international boundaries, and the establishment of a bridge between different currencies. The usage of this technology has already begun in dozens of nations by various financial organizations. In the event that XRP were to acquire even 10% of the present global cross-border payment industry, which is valued at $150 trillion, its worth would skyrocket to an exponential level. With the current amount in circulation, a price of $5,000 would be equivalent to a market valuation that is in the multiple trillions of dollars. However, it is not difficult to achieve this goal within a decade, especially in a society that is shifting to tokenized money and blockchain rails. Yes, it is quite ambitious. The utility velocity is the other issue to consider. Because of the way that it is designed, XRP may be used, settled and reused in a matter of seconds. Because of its high velocity, it does not require a significant amount of reserves in order to maintain big quantities. Rather than being hoarded, it circulates, which makes it a perfect candidate for the role of global reserve in an economy that is based on digital transactions. XRP is an asset that makes sense for governments who are searching for a neutral bridge asset to enable transactions. This is because CBDCs, also known as central bank digital currencies, are becoming increasingly popular. Not a single government is connected to it in any way. In addition to being quick and scalable, it is now completely legal in the economy that is the largest in the world, according to HR 7353. The clarity of the law, however, is not the only tailwind. The rate of adoption is quickening. Visa, in collaboration with Coinbase, has recently introduced a new debit card that enables users to spend crypto assets, including XRP, in the same manner as fiat cash, anywhere Visa is accepted. In the meantime, RippleNet has been growing, and hundreds of banks and other financial service providers have been incorporating the technology. Ripple's infrastructure is becoming increasingly dependent on key remittance corridors in Asia, Africa, and Latin America in order to facilitate the efficient movement of cash. Japan's SBI Group is boosting its utilization of XRP. In reality, the network effect is occurring, and it is expanding. Additionally, there are whales to consider. A rise in the number of big XRP transactions with a value of hundreds of millions of dollars has been seen on the blockchain. These transfers are traveling between wallets and exchanges. A number of people consider this to be a repositioning in front of a market breakout. A noteworthy occurrence was when Ripple moved approximately $500 million worth of XRP, only to lock a portion of it back into escrow. This was a planned action aimed to regulate supply and demonstrate trust in the cryptocurrency. Additionally, when the purchasing tendencies of institutional wallets are taken into consideration, it becomes abundantly evident that the intelligent money is getting ready for something significant. Additionally, there is a shift in sentiment in the media. Once considered a banker's coin or a victim of the Securities and Exchange Commission, XRP is now being lauded as a comeback story. Broadcasting outlets like Bloomberg, CNBC, and Reuters are among the mainstream venues where financial analysts are publicly discussing XRP. Some people are even making comparisons between the present trajectory of XRP and the early days of Bitcoin. During that time period, the majority of individuals did not believe that a decentralized digital currency could achieve widespread acceptance. Bitcoin has reached the mainstream today. Could XRP be the next cryptocurrency? Undoubtedly, we are obligated to acknowledge the dangers. Predictions of prices such as $5,000 are based on a future in which there will be widespread adoption, institutional integration, and macroeconomic shifts that have not yet completely manifested. Possible factors that might slow down progress include market cycles, geopolitical turmoil, or new regulatory developments. On the other hand, for long-term holders, the current circumstances, the clarity of the law, the expanding usefulness, and the preparedness of the institutions form a unique alignment that is, to tell you the truth, difficult to ignore. With the future in sight, there is one thing that can be said with absolute certainty: XRP is no longer only a speculative asset, rather it is becoming infrastructure, and it is becoming financial plumbing. This is a clear and unobstructed way for XRP to accomplish its initial objective, which was to offer rapid, inexpensive, borderless payments to the globe. Whether you believe in the $5,000 price point, or think a more conservative $10, $50 is more reasonable, there is now a clear path for XRP to fulfill its original mission. Moreover, with the weight of US law now behind it, it is possible that this momentum may not be able to be stopped. So what are your thoughts on this matter? Exists the possibility that XRP will usher in a new age in the world of finance? Is a sum of $5,000 within your reach? Is it still too early to make a decision at this point? Your ideas are welcome in the comments section. Leave a comment to the moon if you think that the finest days for XRP are still to come. If you found this video